Amazon versus Walmart, which scope is a better bang for your buck? Hitting middle of the paper. So we had a $100 budget for this AR scope, and these two were right there. They're 94 bucks a piece. This one was from Amazon, and it actually came with this base. And then this scope is from Walmart, and the scope and base were separate, but still totaled $94. And they're both 1 to 6 power, 24 mil objective lenses, and both cantilever mounts, both illuminated reticles. They're very, very similar in terms of specs. So today we're gonna mount them up to our gun here. We're gonna shoot them a little bit, see what accuracy is like at this close distance, and then we've got a steel target out there at about 50 or 60 yards as well. I'm gonna do a little bit of shooting there. We've shot this Amazon one a little bit actually in a previous video, so make sure to check that out. We go a little bit more in depth on that one. But this Walmart one, I literally just took it out of the box and mounted it on this base. So we're gonna get it mounted up to the gun real quick. We'll go through what the zoom ring feels like and just kind of the fit and feel of the whole scope. So both of these scopes have a very similar base that mount here on the receiver. I don't love that it's these tiny little Allen bolts. Definitely does not feel the most secure, and compared to my other set of higher end, much more expensive base and rings, those have bigger bolts, and you can this feel a little bit better. This feels pretty darn cheap, but with that being said, let's get it snug here. You got to think of everything. It's on a budget. It's only about 90 bucks. So it really feels pretty solid. Yeah, it feels pretty good. So zoom ring here, you got a really tall lever there to throw the zoom back and forth. Actually feels pretty good. Got an illuminated reticle here. Looks like red and green. Goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to 0, and then you can go into your red illuminated reticle. Let's see what the turrets look like. So don't need a quarter or a screwdriver. They feel pretty responsive, have pretty good clicks. Shouldn't mess with that too much before I shoot it here, but we got some paper down there. We'll get it close, but honestly feel pretty decent. Got spring-loaded caps. I have no idea why they're this color. I don't know why you'd want to shoot through that, but and they're both see-through, which I guess is kind of cool. I didn't really see much on whether if it's waterproof or fog-proof, but got it mounted up. It looks pretty decent. I think the scope base looks a little cheap, and don't really love the logo there. It's kind of not my favorite, but we're gonna load up a mag and shoot this real quick, see how it does. All right, Walmart scope, budget scope from Walmart. Let's see how it looks. Looks decently clear, actually. Let's power it up a little bit. 6 power, still pretty clear. Hitting middle of the paper right from the get-go. So let's go out to that steel, see if we can hit that.
Dude, drilling.
That's like a 6-inch gong, 50, 60 yards, and hitting it every time. I'm actually kind of surprised, because I was even just twisting the turrets back and forth and stuff. That's just luck. Pretty impressed, not gonna lie. Pretty impressed. One thing I want to talk about too is I already had the scope on this base before we started the video, but this base is not the highest quality. These screws, stick super bad to these Allen wrenches. That's not the right size there, but this one here, when I was taking them off, the screws would get locked up on them, and it just feels super cheap. And screwing them in, you tell it was kind of gritty in there, which is not the best. Also, kind of a fun fact is this scope comes with these little plastic spacers. So, or the base comes with these little plastic spacers, so it can fit a 30 millimeter tube or a 1-inch tube. And if you're like, I don't know, on any budget, like if you're relying on this, I just wouldn't recommend that. You know, for accuracy, I don't really want a little piece of plastic in there. It could just get brittle, break, slide around. I don't know. I didn't really trust it, but you know, this fit without that anyways. So you want to shoot it real quick?
Sure. All right. Walmart scope, 90 bucks budget. Let's see. Safety. I didn't flinch at all right there. You didn't see that. Not bad at all. Honestly, you know, it's pretty clear for you know, for 90 bucks. I was expecting not to be able to see as well. This is at 6 power. Let's look over here. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a haze when you look farther with it. But overall, pretty clear for $90. You know, if you're using a low power optic like this, you're probably not going to be shooting past 100 or so anyways, especially on an AR. So definitely a pretty viable option. Yeah, everything looks good. Turrets feel good. Not a bad option. Let's check out this Amazon scope now. Same price, very similar specs, but off Amazon. This one is Walmart. Testing Amazon next.
All right, there's the Walmart one. Now we're grabbing the Amazon. Like I said, we have shot this a little bit in our other video there, so make sure to go check that out, where we dive a little bit more in depth. This scope base is a little sleeker, fits a little more snug, I would say, looks a little cleaner. Oh, that's why it's not working.
Starved it. I was gonna tell you, but I figured
they were going, but
this scope here is like one of the highest reviewed, highest requested on Amazon.
yeah, bunch of reviews on this. A lot of people have bought it. A lot of people really like it. So we wanted to get it and see what it was like for ourselves, and you know,
Test it with other budget options.
Did pretty good. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing is we just want to compare this to a very similar scope setup. Like I've got this same scope, but it's like, you know, $700-800 when you have the scope with the base. So it's not the fairest comparison, but like this thing actually, it holds its own. So we're gonna shoot this real quick. It should be close to zeroed and see how it does. See what the clarity looks like. See what the turrets feel like. All that stuff. Crank her to 6. All right, still zeroed. I don't think this one's completely zeroed.
No, it's definitely hits high.
But
I'd say a couple inches high at 60 yards.
This one's more clear.
100%.
For sure.
Especially out at, like when we looked out here at distance.
Yeah, you know, looking at a couple 100 yards here, much clear. And I like this illuminated reticle more because it goes for every time it's on, your next turn here is off. So you don't have to, you know, like this one, when you get the Walmart one, let's say you're in the middle of the range, you have to rotate it, you know, the whole turn to get it back to 0, as to where this has a dash after every number to just go back to off. It's something small, but like I think it's a feature worth being noted. More clear, the turrets feel a little bit nicer as well, look better. You know, the Walmart one definitely looked pretty cheap. The other thing that should be noted is, so this is a Monstrum scope, and they brand it. You know, they want you to know it's there. It's got a lifetime warranty too, which is pretty crazy considering you're only spending 90 bucks. As for this scope, you know, the base came separate. The scope has no branding on it, which I find a little bit odd. Like, even, you know, we had a CV Life scope from a different video, and they even branded it. So this one, I don't know why they wouldn't brand it, unless they're not too proud of it. But this,
Do you remember what brand it was?
I can look. We'll pop it up
Was it
on the screen.
Walmart's?
It's from Walmart, but it's not their own brand, I don't think.
Gotcha.
But even this illuminated thing, like, that turns way worse. I'm not trying to like talk crap on this scope. Like, I think, you know, as you saw, we just threw it on and shot, you know, 10 or 15 rounds, and it hit where we were aiming right out of the box. So it's like, you can't knock it too much. But like, we're trying to have a fair comparison here, and it's the same type of scope, same amount of money. And I would choose the Amazon scope hands down. Like, I think that's a pretty good option for sure. This one, I think it's fine. I think it'll do the job. I just, for the money, I don't think it's worth it compared to that one.
Yeah, if you had to spend 90 bucks.
Yeah. I mean, because
Monstrum
it's like, most people, they're not gonna, you know, unless you have two ARs, you're not really gonna buy two scopes. If you're on a budget and you're looking to get your first AR, and you know, have, let's say, $100 budget, yeah, I think this Amazon scope makes way more sense. And we'll link both of them in the description below, so you can check them out for yourselves, and, you know, read some reviews and read the specs and all that. But, you know, for our first impressions right here, and, you know, only a couple mags through them, this Amazon one seems to be the real deal.